All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever really stopped to think about the fact that you have a literal supercomputer sitting inside your skull? I mean, it's this impossibly complex, powerful, and adaptable machine that controls, well, everything you are and everything you do. Today, we're going to pop the hood, see how it works, and more importantly, how we can make it run even better.
So it all starts with this. The average human brain weighs just about 3 pounds. That's it. It's not much, right? You could literally hold it in your hands. But somehow, packed into that small space is the entire universe of you.
And this is where it gets truly mind-blowing. Because inside that 3-pound organ are nearly 100 billion neurons. Let that sink in. That's more than 12 times the number of people on this planet, all working together, firing in these complex patterns to create your thoughts, your memories, and your emotions. It's just staggering.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First up, we're going to meet that inner supercomputer. Then, we'll get into the brain's command center to see how messages get sent. After that, we get to the really exciting part, how you can actually rewire your brain for peak performance, how to fuel that cognitive engine, and finally, how to protect your greatest asset for the long haul.
So Section 1, meet your inner supercomputer. Let's start by getting to know the physical structure of the brain. You could think of this as, the main hardware of your mind.
So, looking at the big picture, we have these 4 major regions. The cerebrum, that's the big boss, right? It handles all your conscious thought. Then there's the cerebellum, tucked away in the back, and it's the master of movement and balance. Your brainstem is basically on autopilot, keeping your heart beating and you breathing without you ever having to think about it. And then the limbic system, that's the heart of your emotional world and where your memories are made.
And if we zoom in on that cerebrum, you can see how specialized it is. Your frontal lobe is like the CEO. It's doing all the planning and decision-making. The parietal lobe, that's processing everything you feel and touch. Your temporal lobes, right there by your ears, are all about hearing and memory. And way in the back, the occipital lobe, that's your own personal visual effects department interpreting everything you see.
All right, Section 2, the brain's command center. We've seen the big structures, now let's zoom in, like way in, to see how those 100 billion neurons actually talk to each other. This is where the real magic happens.
And it all comes down to this, the synapse. Now, this isn't a physical wire, it's a tiny, tiny gap. And it's across these little gaps that all the information in your brain flows. Every single thought you have is basically a storm of chemical signals jumping across trillions of these pathways. It's an electrical grid that's just beyond complex.
And this shows you how it works. It's a pretty simple 3-step dance, but it's repeated billions of times a second. So, a neuron's dendrites act like antennas, picking up a signal. If that signal is strong enough, an electrical impulse zips down the axon, and boom, it releases chemical messengers, which we call neurotransmitters, over to the next neuron in line. Simple, yet so powerful.
Okay, here we go. Section 3, rewire for peak performance. This is where we shift from just how it works to how you can make it work better. And let me tell you, this next idea is an absolute game changer.
And that idea is neuroplasticity. What this means is that your brain is not some fixed computer chip. It's more like clay. Every time you learn something new, you are physically rewiring its structure. You're strengthening those synapses we just talked about, creating new ones, and even pruning away the ones you don't use anymore. And the best part? This happens your entire life, which means it is never, ever too late to build a better brain.
So how do we actually do it? It's pretty simple, really. You challenge your brain. Learning a new language or an instrument literally creates brand new pathways. Tackling a tough book forces it to build stronger connections. Heck, even just having a deep conversation stimulates multiple parts of your brain at once. You are, in a very real sense, the architect of your own neural network.
Which of course brings us to a really important question. All this activity, all this rewiring, it takes a ton of energy. So, if your brain is this high-performance engine, what exactly is its fuel?
And that leads us to Section 4, fueling your cognitive engine. Because just like a race car, your brain needs that premium-grade fuel, the right energy and specific nutrients to perform at its absolute best.
Now check this out. That 3-pound brain, which is only about 2% of your body weight, uses up a whopping 20% of your body's total energy. It is an incredibly hungry organ. This chart really shows you just how much power it takes to run the whole show upstairs.
And you know what? It's picky about its fuel too. It craves specific nutrients. Omega-3s, for instance, help build brain cell membranes. Antioxidants from things like berries and dark chocolate protect it from damage. And all those crucial vitamins and minerals like B vitamins and zinc, they help create the very neurotransmitters we were just talking about.
And hey, fuel isn't just about food. Physical exercise is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain. It boosts blood flow, kind of like upgrading the fuel line to the engine, and it releases a protein called BDNF. Now think of BDNF as Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. It directly helps new connections grow, which is absolutely essential for learning and memory.
Okay, moving into our last section, protecting your greatest asset. Now that we know how to build and fuel the brain, we have to talk about defense. What are the biggest threats out there, and how do we protect our most valuable asset?
Well, one of the biggest enemies is chronic stress. And this slide just illustrates it perfectly. I mean, look at the difference. A healthy brain is busy making new memories, building strong connections. But a brain that's just swimming in the stress hormone cortisol, well, memory gets impaired, connections get weaker, and the hippocampus, your memory center, can actually start to shrink. It's a huge deal.
So the key thing to remember is that protection is an active process, and these are your top 3 shields. Quality sleep, that's your brain's nightly cleaning crew, clearing out toxins and locking in memories. Stress management, like meditation, actively lowers that damaging cortisol. And of course, just living a healthy lifestyle, avoiding things that directly harm brain cells like too much alcohol or smoking, that's non-negotiable.
You know, if there's one single idea to take away from all this, it's captured perfectly in this quote. This isn't about finding one magic pill. It's about the cumulative effect of all your daily choices. You are constantly, actively shaping the physical structure and the function of your own brain.
And that's really the ultimate message here. Your brain isn't just something that happens to you, it's this dynamic, adaptive part of you that responds to your choices, basically waiting for your instructions.
So I'll leave you with this question. You now have the user manual for the most powerful device in the known universe. You know the rules of the game, so the only question left is, how will you choose to play?